The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened with an urgency that hadn't been felt in 3 millennia. Maya stood at the observation deck of the Council's orbital station, her dark eyes scanning the Chinese letter SE of assembled vessels from 47 different species. As Earth's first official ambassador, she understood the weight of this moment, even if the circumstances were far from ideal. "They're terrified," William said beside her, his fingers dancing across a holographic display. The young xenobiologist had been her constant companion since humanity's first contact 6 months ago. The bio readings don't lie. Elevated stress hormones across every species present. Maya nodded, her expression carefully neutral. "Can you blame them? We just walked out of their nightmare." The quarantine zone, Sector 447 Alpha. For the past 50,000 years, the Galactic Council had maintained an impenetrable barrier around a region of space containing exactly one yellow dwarf star in its planetary system. The official records called it a cosmic anomaly zone. The truth, as Maya and William had recently discovered, was far more disturbing. The chamber doors dilated, and Maya straightened her uniform. The fabric was a synthetic polymer developed in the lunar colonies, designed to regulate temperature in any atmospheric composition. Small details like this, humanity's casual mastery of material science, seemed to unsettle their galactic neighbors. Ambassador Maya of Earth, the Council speaker's translation device, rendered the Velkare's clicking mandibles into perfect English. "You have been summoned to explain your species' unauthorized departure from Quarantine Zone 447 Alpha." William followed her into the vast semicircular chamber. The architecture was deliberately non-threatening, all gentle curves and soft bioluminescent lighting. Yet the tension in the air was palpable, thick enough to cut with a monofilament blade. "Honored Council," Maya began, her voice steady, "we were unaware that our star system existed within any designated zone. Our departure was not unauthorized. We were never informed of any restrictions in the first place." A ripple of agitation spread through the assembled delegates. The Hrempti representative, a being of crystalline structures and electromagnetic fields, pulsed with amber distress. "Ignorance is precisely what we feared. Your species emerged from the zone without understanding why you were contained." William activated his portable data core, projecting holographic images into the center of the chamber. "If I may," he said, his academic tone carefully respectful, "we've conducted extensive research since making contact. The quarantine zone was established 50,247 standard galactic years ago, following an incident designated only as the consumption event." The council chamber fell silent. Even the ambient environmental system seemed to quiet. "You accessed classified historical archives," the Velkare speaker stated, not quite a question. "We intercepted your public broadcasts for 3 centuries before achieving faster-than-light travel," Maya explained. "Your encryption is sophisticated but not impenetrable. We wanted to understand our neighbors before introducing ourselves." 3 centuries. The Orinthian delegate's feathers ruffled with alarm. "You possess the technology to detect our communications for that long." William nodded, pulling up another hologram, this one showing Earth's radio telescope arrays, quantum listening stations, and AI-driven linguistic decryption networks. "We've been aware of the galactic community since what you'd call the first radio age on Earth. We simply weren't ready to join the conversation." Maya watched the council members exchange worried glances through their various sensory organs. She could read their fear, even across the vast divide of alien biology and psychology. Humanity had been watching, learning, analyzing, all while the council believed them safely contained. "The consumption event," the Velkare speaker said slowly. "You claim to have discovered the reason for your quarantine. Explain your understanding." William's fingers moved across his interface. A new image materialized, a reconstruction based on fragmentary data recovered from ancient council databases. It showed a region of space, not unlike Sector 447 Alpha, consumed by something that existed between dimensions. 50,000 years ago, a species within that sector developed what they called a reality engine, William began. A device capable of manipulating the quantum substrate of spacetime itself. The technology was elegant, revolutionary, and catastrophically unstable. The species attempted to rewrite physical constants within their local spacetime bubble, Maya continued. They succeeded. For approximately 47 minutes, they achieved what they considered paradise: unlimited energy, matter creation, even manipulation of temporal flow. Then the cascade began, William said quietly. The altered constants destabilized, creating a propagating wave of conflicting physical laws. Matter couldn't decide whether to exist or not. Causality became optional. The entire sector collapsed into what your records call the screaming dark. The hologram showed the disaster spreading, consuming star systems, until the early council deployed every available resource to contain it. The cost had been staggering: 7 species rendered extinct, countless worlds abandoned. "And you believe this is why Earth was quarantined?" the speaker asked. "We don't believe," Maya said. "We know. We found the warning beacons at the edge of our star system, degraded, ancient, but still functional. The message was clear: containment protocol active, technological species detected, high risk for reality engine development." She paused, letting that sink in. "You imprisoned us not for what we'd done, but for what you feared we might do." The Orinthian delegate spoke, its voice synthesized into a sound like wind through crystal. "Your species exhibits all the markers: rapid technological advancement, aggressive problem-solving tendencies, a fundamental refusal to accept limitations. The same traits that led the predecessor species to create the reality engine." "Perhaps," William acknowledged, "but you made a critical error in your assessment." He expanded the hologram, now showing humanity's own technological development. The progression was startling, from stone tools to quantum computers in mere millennia, a pace that made several council members visibly recoil. "You saw our potential for disaster," William continued, "but you failed to account for our most fundamental characteristic. We learn from others' mistakes." Maya activated her own display, showing the network of human installations throughout the solar system: Mars colonies, Jovian gas mining platforms, Kuiper Belt research stations, and beyond, the first-generation starships already crossing the quarantine boundary. "We found your warning beacons. We decrypted your archives. We learned about the consumption event," she said. "And we made a choice. Every human child now learns about the predecessor species in basic education. The reality engine is our most famous cautionary tale." "You've regulated the research?" the Velkara speaker asked, mandibles clicking with surprised interest. "More than that," William said. "We've banned it. Constitutional amendment, ratified by every nation on Earth and every off-world colony. The development of technology capable of altering fundamental physical constants is classified as a crime against existence itself. Penalty: permanent exile into a contained pocket dimension." He smiled slightly. "We even built the pocket dimension first, just to prove we could enforce it." The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien communication. Maya could see the conflict playing out across 47 different species, fear warring with curiosity, suspicion battling hope. "You developed pocket dimension technology," the Hremti representative pulsed, "and immediately used it for containment rather than exploration or exploitation." "We learned what happens when you don't," Maya said simply. 50,000 years ago, a species reached too far and destroyed themselves. We have no interest in repeating their mistake." The Velkari speaker's mandibles stilled, a gesture William's research indicated meant deep contemplation. And yet you violated the quarantine. You possess faster-than-light travel, quantum computing, directed energy weapons, artificial intelligence, all technologies that could lead to destabilizing research. We possess them, Maya agreed, and we've chosen to control them. Every human ship carries a failsafe, a quantum-entangled shutdown system. If any vessel begins research into prohibited technologies, it's instantaneously disabled. She pulled up the schematics, showing the intricate network of safeguards humanity had built into its own infrastructure. We don't trust ourselves not to be curious, so we built systems that don't rely on trust. William added, "We also sent you our complete technological database 3 days ago. No encryption, no restrictions. Every innovation, every discovery, every experiment, available for your review and regulation." The silence that followed was profound. Maya could see the council members struggling to process this. A species that had voluntarily surrendered its technological secrets to strangers. A species that had imprisoned its own potential for cosmic catastrophe. "Why?" the Orinthian delegate finally asked. "Why would you limit yourselves? Why would you expose your vulnerabilities?" Maya thought of Earth, that blue marble they'd left behind to cross the quarantine boundary. She thought of the billions who'd voted to reach out to the galaxy, knowing the risks. She thought of the children who'd never know a universe where humanity destroyed itself through hubris. "Because we're not alone anymore," she said quietly. "The predecessor species made their choice in isolation. We have the advantage of your history, your warnings, your fear. We'd be fools not to learn from it." William stepped forward. "We're requesting formal admission to the Galactic Council, not as the species you quarantined, but as the species that chose to quarantine ourselves. We want to join the community dedicated to ensuring the consumption event never happens again." The Velkari speaker's mandibles began a complex pattern that William's research indicated meant careful consideration. "This is unprecedented. A quarantined species that enforces its own containment. A technological civilization that voluntarily accepts limitations." "We're human," Maya said with a slight smile. "Unprecedented is kind of our specialty." The vote took 6 hours. 47 species debating humanity's fate, while Maya and William waited in the observation deck, watching the stars they'd crossed to get here. When the council reconvened, the Velkari speaker's translation carried a note of something Maya could only interpret as cautious optimism. "The Galactic Council has reviewed your petition. By a vote of 39 in favor, 7 opposed, and 1 abstention, humanity is granted provisional membership. You will be monitored, tested, and evaluated, but you will be welcomed." Maya felt William's hand find hers, a brief squeeze of shared relief. "However," the speaker continued, "we have one condition. You will help us dismantle the quarantine barriers around 3 other star systems. Systems where we detected technological species and, learning from our mistake with humanity, chose containment over communication." "You want us to make first contact?" William asked, surprise evident in his voice. "We want the species that learned from our fear to teach others how to transcend it," the speaker said. "If humanity could emerge from the quarantine zone not as the disaster we predicted, but as the partners we needed, perhaps those other species can as well." Maya looked out at the assembled vessels, at the vast diversity of life the galaxy had produced. Somewhere out there, behind ancient barriers, other species waited, afraid, alone, and unaware that the universe was ready to welcome them. "We accept," she said. As the council session adjourned, Maya and William remained at the observation deck. The stars seemed different now, not distant points of light to be feared, but neighbors waiting to be known. 3 more quarantine zones, William mused. 3 more species that the council decided were too dangerous to contact. 3 more chances to prove that fear doesn't have to win, Maya said. Humanity had walked out of its cage not with weapons or threats, but with wisdom earned from others' catastrophes. In a galaxy still haunted by the consumption event, that might be the most powerful technology of all.